Chapter 4 Appointed a BanHorse, how could he be content? Name equal to heaven, he's still not appeased. The gold star of Venus left the depths of the cave dwelling with the handsome Monkey King, and together they rose to the mountain clouds. But the cloud somersault of Wukong, you see, was no common magic. Its speed was tremendous. Soon he left the gold star far behind and arrived first at the south heaven gate. He was about to dismount from the cloud and go in where Theravada Furukawa, leading Pan, Lu, Ko, Bing, Den, Jing, Zan, and Tao, various divine heroes, barred the way with spears and scimitars, swords and halberds, and refused to let him entrance. The Monkey King said,
"What a deceitful fellow the Gold Star is! If this old monkey had been invited here, then why had these people in order to use their swords and spears to bar my entrance?"
He protested loudly when the Gold Star arrived in haste.
"Old man,"
Wukong said angrily,
"why did you deceive me? You told me I was invited to the Jade Emperor decree of pacification. Why did you get these people to block the heavenly gate and prevent my entering?"
"Let the great king calm down," the Gold Star said, laughing. "Since you've never been to the Hall of Heaven before, nor have you been given a name, you are quite unknown to various heavenly guards. How can they let you in without their own authority? Once you have seen the heavenly diva, received an appointment, then have your name listed in the immortal register, you can go in and out as you please. Who then obstruct your way?"
"If that's how it is," said Wukong, "then all right, I'm not going in by myself."
"Then you go in with me," said the Gold Star, pulling him by the hand. As they approached the gate, the Gold Star called loudly, "Guardians of the heavenly gate, lieutenants great and small, make way. This person, an immortal from the region below, whom I have summoned to the imperial decree of the Jade Emperor." Theravada Furukawa and the various divine heroes immediately lowered their weapons and stepped aside. The Monkey King finally believed that what he'd been told. He walked slowly inside with the Gold Star looking around, for it was truly his first ascent to the region above. His sudden entrance into the Hall of Heaven, tens and thousands of shafts of golden light whirled a coral rainbow, and thousands of layers of hallowed of air diffused mist of purple. Look at the south heavenly gate. Its deep shades of green glazed tiles were made, its radiant battlements adorned with treasured jade. Two sides posted scores of celestial sentinels, each of whom standing tall beside the pillars, carried bows and clutches banner. Around were sundry divine in golden armor, each of them holding halberds and whips, or wielding scimitars and swords. Impressive maybe to an outer court, overwhelming is a sight within. The inner walls stood several huge pillars, circled red-whiskered dragons whose golden scales gleamed in the sun, where were moreover long bridges, above them crimson-headed phoenixes, circled with his soaring plumes of many hues. Bright mist shimmered in the light of the sky. Green fog descended and obscured the stars. 33 heavenly mansions were found up there, with names scattered cloud and Vaskawa, Panakawa, and Suyama, and Murakami. On the roof of every mansion was ridged held stately golden beast, where 72 treasure halls with the names Morning Assembly, Transcendent Void, the Precious Light, Heavenly King, Divine Minister. The halls beneath the pillars stood rows of jade unicorn, on platform canopus, where the flowers unfading in thousands of millennia. Besides the oven was refined herbs, where the exotic grasses growing green for tens and thousands of years. He went before the tower's homage to the sage, where he went robes of royal purple gaze, brilliant as the stars' refugee caps and shapes of Hecubus, resplendent with gold, precious stones, and pins of jade, of shoes of pearl, and sashes of gold ornaments. When the golden bells swayed striking the memorial of the three judges, which caused vermilion courtyard, when the drums of heaven were sounded, thousands of sage royal audience would honor the Jade Emperor. He went, too, to the treasure hall of divine mist, where the nail gold penetrated the frame of the jade, and the colorful phoenixes danced atop the scarlet doors, where covered bridges and winding corridors displayed everywhere openwork carving the most elegant, and eaves crowding together in large 3 and 4. On each one was reared up the phoenixes and dragon, there high above a round dome, big, bright, and brilliant in shape, and its huge gourd of purple gold. Below, the guardian goddesses hung up their fans, and the jade maidens held up their immortal veils. Ferocious were the sky marshals overseeing the court, dignifying the divine officials protecting the throne. There, at the center of the crystal platter, tablets of great monotard elixir were heaped, its rising off the Korean vases, and its several branches of twisting coral. So it was there. The rare goods of every order were found in the heavenly hall, but nothing like them on earth could be seen. Those gold arches, silver coaches, and that heavenly house, those coraline blooms, jasper plants, and with their buds of jade. The jade rabbit passed the platform, adorned the king. The golden crow flew to worship the sage. Bless the monkey king, coming to this heavenly realm, who could not be worth by the filthy soil of man. The gold star of Venus led the handsome monkey king to the treasure hall of divine mist without waiting any further announcement. They went to the imperial presence. While the star protested himself, Wukong stood erect by himself. Showing no respect, he cocked his ear, only listening to the report of the gold star. According to your decree, said the gold star, your subject has brought the bogus immortal. Which one is the bogus immortal? Asked the Jade Emperor graciously. Only one, did someone calm bow and reply, none other than the old monkey. Blanching the horror of various officials, that wild ape, he has already failed to proclaim himself before the throne, and now he dares to come forward in such an insolent display as none other than the old monkey. He is worthy of death, worthy of death. That fellow someone calls a bogus immortal from the region below, announced the Jade Emperor, and he has only recently acquired the form of a human being. We shall pardon him of this time for his ignorance in court etiquette. Thank you, your majesty, cried the various divine officials. Only then did the monkey king bow deeply, with divine officials, both the civil and military, to see what vacant appointment there must be for Sun Wukong to receive. From the side came the star spirit of Wuju. He reported, every mansion hall in the palace of heaven there is no lack of ministers. Only imperial stables is a supervisor needed. Let him be made BanHorse plague, proclaimed the Jade Emperor. Various subjects gained and shouted their thanks, but the Monkey King only bowed deeply, gave a loud whoop of gratitude. Then the Jade Emperor sent the star spirit of Jupiter to accompany him to the stables. The Monkey King went happily with the star spirit of Jupiter to the stables in order to assume his duties. After the star spirit had returned to his own mansion, the new officer gathered together, and the deputy, as the assistant supervisors, accountants, and stewards, and other officials, bowed great and small, made through the investigation of the affairs of the stables. There was about 1,000 celestial horses. They were all Hualius and Julius, Lurius and Janlius, the consorts of the dragons and purple swallows, folded wings and zhuzhangs, huatis and silver hooves, jiaonaos and flying yellows, chestnuts faster than arrows, red hares speedier than lights, leaping lights and vaulting shadows, rising fogs and triumphant yellows, winning chasers and distant breakers, flying pinions and surging airs, rushing winds and fiery lightnings, copper sorrows and drifting clouds, dragon-like piebalds and tiger-like pintos, dust quenchers and purple scales, fernouts from the four corners, like eight steeds, and 9 stallions. No rivals within 1,000 miles, such as fine horses, every one which neighed like the wind gallops, and the thunder to show the mighty spirit. They tread like mist and mount the clouds of unflagging strength. Our Monkey King went through the list and made thorough an inspection of the horses. Within the imperial stables, accountants were in charge of getting supplies. Stewards groomed and washed the horses, chopped hay, watered them, prepared their food, and deputies and assistants saw the overall management. Never resting, Binma oversaw the care of the horses, fussing with them each day and watching over them diligently by night. Those horses wanted to sleep were stirred up and fed. Those who wanted to gallop were caught and placed in their stalls. When the celestial horses saw him, they all behaved the most properly and were all well cared for, and their flanks swollen with fat. More than half a mile soon went by, and one leisurely morning, various department ministers gave a banquet to welcome and congratulate him. While they were drinking happily, the Monkey King suddenly put down his cup and asked, "What sort of rank did the BanHorse plague of mine?" "The rank of the title are the same," they said. "But what ministerial grade is it?" "It does not have a grade," they said.
"If it does not have a grade," said the Monkey King, "I suppose I must be the highest."
"Not at all," they replied. "No one can be called unclassified." The Monkey King said,
"What do you mean unclassified?"
It's really the meanest level," they said. "It's a kind of ministers the lowest of the low ranks. Hence, it can only look after horses. Take after your honor, who since arrived has been so diligent in discharging your duties. If the horses were fat, you only earn yourself fairly good. If they looked all thin, you'd be roundly rebuked. If they were seriously hurt or wounded, you'd be prosecuted and fined." Then the Monkey King heard this. Fire leaped up from his heart.
"So the contempt they have for this old monkey," he cried angrily, gashing at his teeth. "At the Flower Fruit Mountain I was honored king and patriarch. How dare they trick me into coming here and look after horses for them? If horse tending is such a menial service, then reserved only for the young and lowly, such treatment is worthy of me. I'm quitting. I'm leaving right now." With a crash, he kicked over the official desk and took over the treasure over his ear and waved it with one hand and the thickest rice bowl, delivering the blows in all directions. He fought his way out of the imperial stables and went straight to the south heavenly gate. Various celestial guardians, knowing he'd been officially appointed BanHorse plate, did not dare to stop him and allowed him his way out of the heavenly gate. In the moment, he lowered the direction of his cloud and returned to the old Flower Fruit Mountain. The four mighty commanders were all seen drilling troops with the monster kings in various caves. "Little ones," the Monkey King cried, his voice, "this old monkey has returned."
The flock of monkeys came to him in tow and received him in the depths of the cave dwelling. As the Monkey King ascended his throne, they busily prepared a banquet to welcome him.
"Receive our congratulations, great king," they said. "Having gone to the region above for more than 10 years, you must be returning with success and glory."
"I've been away for only half a month," said the Monkey King. "How can it be more than 10 years?
"Great king," said various monkeys, "you are not aware of the time and seasons when you are in heaven. One day in heaven above is equal to 1 year on earth. May we ask the great king what ministerial appointment he received?"
Don't mention that, said the Monkey King, waving his hand. "It embarrassed me to death. The Jade Emperor does not know how to use talent. Seeing the features of the old Monkey King appointed me something called a BanHorse plague, which actually means taking care of horses for him. The job too low to even be classified. I didn't know this when I first assumed my duty, so I managed to have some fun in the imperial stables. But when I asked my colleagues today, I discovered that what a degraded position it was. I was so infuriated that I knocked over the banquet that they were giving me and rejected the title, and that's why I came back down."
"Welcome back," said various monkeys. "Welcome back. Our great king can be sovereign, bless his cave dwelling in the greatest honor and happiness. Why should he go away to be someone's stable boy?" "Little ones," they cried, "set up the wine and cheer up the great king."
They were drinking wine and conversing happily when someone came to report, "Great king, there's one horned demon kings outside," and straightened their attire, ran out of the cave, prostrated themselves.
What did you want to see me?" said the handsome Monkey King.
"We have long heard that the great king has receptive talents," said the demon kings, "but no reason to request your audience. We have learned that the great king has received a divine appointment and returned in success and glory. We have come, therefore, to present the gay king with red and yellow robe for a celebration. If you do not disdainful of uncouth and lowly and willing to save us plebeians. We shall serve you as dogs or as horses." Highly pleased, the Monkey King put the red and yellow robe, while rest lined up joyfully and did homage. He appointed the Demon King to be the vanguard commanders, marshal of the forward regiments. After expressing their thanks, the Demon Kings asked again, "Since our great king was in heaven for a long time, may we ask what kind of appointment he received?" "The Jade Emperor belittles talent," said the Monkey King. "He only made me something called the BanHorse plague." Hearing this, the demons said again, "Great king has such divine power. Why should you take care of horses for him? What is there to stop you from assuming rank of great sage equal to heaven?" When the Monkey King heard these words, he could not be more delighted, and shouted repeatedly, "Bravo! Bravo! Make me a banner immediately." He ordered the 4 mighty commanders, inscribe in large letters, "Great sage equal to heaven." Erect a pole to hang it on, and now address me as such, as the great sage equal to heaven, and the title of the great king will no longer be permitted. The monster kings of various caves also inform, and make know of it all. Of this shall we speak no further. We refer now to the Jade Emperor, who held the court the next day. The celestial Master Zhang has seen the leading deputy of the assistant of imperial stables has come before him in the Vermilion courtyard. "Your Majesty," they said, prostrating themselves, "the newly appointed BanHorse plague, Sun Wukong, has objected himself to his rank of being too low and left the heavenly palace yesterday in rebellion. Meanwhile, the Durvaja Rugavada, leading the various celestial guardians from the South Heaven Gate, also made report the BanHorse plague, for some reason unknown to us, have walked out of the Heaven Gate." When the Jade Emperor heard this, he proclamation, "Let the 2 divine commanders and their following return to their duties. We shall send forth celestial soldiers to capture this monster." From among the ranks, Durvaja Li, who the Bakota bearer of his 3rd prince Naja, came forward to present himself and request, saying, "Your Majesty, those humble subjects not gifted, we await your authorization to subdue this monster." Delighted, the Jade Emperor appointed the Pagoda bearer Li Jing to be granted marshal of subduing the monster. Promoted the 3rd prince of Naja to a great deity in charge of the 3 platforms assembly saints. While they led the expectory force once in region below, Durvada Li and Nada kowtowed and left back to their own mansion. After reviewing their troops and the captains, lieutenants, they appointed mighty spirits God reward commander. The Fishbelly general bring up their rear, and the general Yakshas urged the troops on. In the moment they left the South Heaven Gate and went straight to Flower Fruit Mountain. A level piece of land was selected for encampment. An order was given, and the mighty spear god provoked battle. Having received his order, and having buckled and knotted his armor properly, the mighty spear god grasped his spreading flower axe and came to the water curtain cave. There in front of the cave, he saw a great mob of monsters, all of them wolves, insects, tigers, leopards, and the like, were all jumping and growling, brandishing their weapons, waving their spears. "Damnable beast," shouted the mighty spirit god, "hurry up and tell the BanHorse plague that I, great general of heaven, have been authorized by the Jade Emperor to come and subdue him. Tell him to come out quickly and surrender, lest you all be annihilated." Running pell and mail into the cave, those monsters shouted a report. "Disaster! Disaster! What sort of disaster?" "There's a celestial warrior outside," said the monster, "who claims the title of Imperial Envoy. He said he came by holy decree of the Jade Emperor to subdue you. He orders you to come out quickly and surrender, lest we lose our lives." Hearing this, the Monkey King commanded, "Get my battle dress." He quickly donned his red golden cap and pulled his yellow gold citrus and tipped his gold treading shoes and sized the complete gold hoop prop and set the crowd outside and set up a battle formation. The mighty spirit god opened wide eyes and stared in magnificence at the Monkey King. The gold citrus worn on his body was brilliant and bright. The gold cap on his head also glistened with light. In his hands was a staff, golden hoop rod. There well came the clouds, trading shoes on his feet. His eyes glowered strangely in the bright stars. Hanging past his shoulders were 2 ears, forked hard. A remarkable body knew many ways of charge.
and his voice renowned like bells and chimes. This BanHorse blade peaked the mouth and gaping teeth, aimed high, equal to heavenly sage. Lawless ape, the mighty spirit god roared powerfully. Do you recognize me? The great sage heard these words and asked quickly, What sort of dull-witted diddity are you? The old monkey has yet to meet you. State your name at once. Fragmented Simeon, cried the mighty spirit. What do you mean you don't recognize me? I am a celestial general of the mighty spirits, vanguard commander, subordinate of Derivat Lee, pagoda bearer of divine Emerian. I have come by imperial decree of the Jade Emperor to receive your submission. Strip yourself of your parental immediately and yield to the heavenly grace, so that these manifold creatures can avoid execution. If you dare but utter a no, you'll be reduced to powder in seconds. When the Monkey King heard this, he was filled with anger. Reckless simpleton, he cried, stop bragging and wagging your tongue. I've come to kill you with one stroke of my rod, but I would have no one communicate my message, so I'll spare your life for a moment. To go back to heaven, quickly inform the Gem Emperor. There is no regard for talent. Old Monkey has unlimited abilities. Why did he ask me to mind a horse for him? Take a good look at the words of this banner. If I am promoted according to this title, I will lay down my arms in the cosmos and will be far tranquil. But if he does not agree to my demand, I'll come and fight my way to the treasure hall of divine mist, and he won't be able to sit on his dragon throne. When the mighty spirit god heard this, his eyes widened, and facing the wind, he saw indeed a tall pole. Outside the cave, one pole hung the banner, bearing large letters, words, Great Sage equal to heaven. The spirit god laughed scornfully 3 times and jeered, Lawless ape, how fatuous can you be? With how arrogant you want to be with the great sage equal to heaven? Be good enough. You take a bit of my axe first. Aiming his head, hacked at him, but being knowledgeable fighter, the Monkey King was not unnerved. He met the blow at once, his golden hoop rod, an exciting battle was on. The rod was named Complaint, the axe was called Spreading Flower. The two of them, meeting suddenly, did not know their weakness or strength, but axe and rod clashed left and right, conceived the secret powers most wondrous. The other banquets opened the vigor and might. They used magic, bowling out cloud and puffing up fog. They stretched their hands, splattering mud and spraying sand. The might of the celestial battler had its way, but the monkey had boundless power of change. And the rod uplifted, the dragon played in the water. The axe arrived, the phoenix sliced through the flowers. The mighty spirit, whose name spread through the world, and prowess truly could not match the other one. The great sage, whirling lightly his iron staff, could numb the body with one blow on its head. The mighty spirit god could not oppose him, and no longer allowed the Monkey King to aim the mighty blow on his head, which hastily sought to parry with his axe. With a crack of his axe split into two, and the mighty spirit turned swiftly to flee for his life. Imbecile, imbecile, laughed the Monkey King. I've already spared you. Go and report my message at once. Back at camp, the mighty spirit god went straight to see the pagoda bearer of Theravada. Huffing and puffing, he knelt down, saying, The BanHorse playing indeed has great powers. Your unworthy word cannot prevail against him. Defeated, I've come to beg your pardon. This fellow has blunted our will to fight, said Theravada Lee angrily. Take him out and have him executed. In front of the Prince Theravada, who said, bowing deeply, Let your anger subside. The Monkey King pardoned for a moment the guilt of the mighty spirit. Permit your child to go to battle at once. Shall know the short of this matter. Theravada heeded a momentation. Ordered the mighty spirit to go back to his camp and wait trial. This Prince Nada had proved armed and leaped his camp and dashed to the water current cave. Vulcan has just been This Prince Naja, properly armed, leaped from his camp and dashed to Water Curtain Cave. Vulcan was just dismissing his troops when he saw Naja approaching fiercely. Dear Prince, 2 boyish tufts barely cover his skull. His flowing hair has yet to reach his shoulders. A rare mind, alert, intelligent. A noble frame, pure and elegant. He is indeed the unicorn son of heaven above, truly immortal as the phoenix of mist and smoke. The seed of the dragon has by nature uncommon features. His tender age shows no relation to any unworldly kin.
He carries his body 6 kinds of magic weapons. He flies, he leaps, he can change without restriction. Now, by golden mouth proclamation by the Jade Emperor, he was appointed to the assembly, his name at the 3 platforms. Wukong drew near and asked, "Whose little brother are you, and what do you want barging through my gate?" "Lawless, monstrous monkey," shouted Naja. "Don't you recognize me? I am Naja, 3rd son of the Coda Bearer of Theravada. I am under imperial commission of the Jade Emperor to come and arrest you." "Little prince," said Wukong, laughing, "your baby teeth haven't even fallen out, with your natal hair is still damp. How dare you talk so big? I'm going to spare your life. I won't fight you. Just take a look at the words in my banner and report them to the Jade Emperor above. Grant me this title, and we'll need to stir your forces. I will submit to my own, and if you don't satisfy my cravings, I will surely fight my way to the treasure hall of the divine mist." Lifting his head to look, Naja saw the words, "Great sage equal to heaven." "What great power does this monstrous monkey possess," said Naja, "that he dares to claim such a title? Fear not, swallow my sword." "I'll just stand here quietly," said Wukong, "and take a few hacks at my sword." Young Nata grew angry. "Change," he yelled loudly, and he changed into a fearsome person having 3 heads and 6 arms. In his hand were 6 kinds of weapons: a monster stabbing sword, a monster cleaving scimitar, a monster biting rope, a monster taming club, an embroidered ball, and a fiery wheel. Brandishing these weapons amounted a small frontal attack. This little brother does know a few tricks, said Wukong, somewhat alarmed what he saw. "But don't be rash. Watch my magic." "Dear great sage," he shouted, "change." 2 transformations, and the creature of the 3 heads and 6 arms waved the golden hoop rod and became 3 staffs, which held 6 hands and conflicted through earth, shaking and making very mountains tremble. What a battle! The 6-armed Prince Naja, the heaven-born handsome Monkey King, meeting each other in his match, and found to be from the same source. One was considered come down to earth, the other was a god disturbed the universe. The edge of the monster-stabbing sword was quick, was keen. Monster-cleaving scimitar alarmed demons and gods. Monster-binding rope was like a flying snake. Monster-taming club was like the head of a wolf. The lightning propelled the fiery wheel of darting flames. Hilter and Thinther embroidered ball rotated. 3 complement rods from the great sage protected from the front and guarded the rear. With care and skill, a few rounds of bitter content rivaled no victor. But the prince's mind would not so easily rest. He ordered 6 kinds of weapons to change into hundreds and thousands of millions. Aiming for the head, the Monkey King, undaunted, roared with laughter and wielded his iron rod with artful ease. 1 turned to 1,000, and 1,000 turned to 10,000, filling the sky as a swarm dancing dragons, and shocked Monkey Kings of sundry caves into shutting their doors. Demons and monsters all over the mountain hid over their heads, and the angry wrath of divine soldiers was like oppressive clouds, and the gold hoop iron rod whistled like the wind on the side. The battle cries of the celestial fires appalled everyone. On that side, the banner waving of the monkey's monsters started each person. Growing fierce, the 2 parties both wield a test of strength. We know not who was stronger and who weaker. Each displaying his divine powers, the 3rd prince and Wukong battled for 30 rounds. 6 weapons of that prince changed to 1,000 and 10,000 pieces. The golden hoop rod of Wukong turned to tens and thousands. They clashed like raindrops, meteors in the air, but victory or defeat was not determined. Wukong, however, proved to be one swifter of the eye on hand. And in the midst of confusion, he plucked a piece of hair and shouted, "Change!" and changed to a copy of him and wielded a rod in his hand, deceiving Naja. The real person leaped behind Nata and struck his left shoulder with a rod. Nata was still forming his magic and heard the rod whistling through the air and tried to desperately dodge it. Unable to move as quickly enough, he took the blow and fled in pain, breaking off his magic and gathering his 6 weapons, so he returned to his camp in his defeat. Standing in front of the battle line, Durvada Lee, what had happening, and was about to go to his son's assistance. The prince, however, came to him first and gasped, "Father King, the BanHorse plague truly is powerful. Even your son of such magical strength is no match for him. He even wounded my shoulder." "If this fellow is so powerful," said Durvada, turning pale with fright, "how can we beat him?" The prince said, "In front of his cave he has set up a banner bearing these words, 'Great Sage equal to heaven.' By his own mouth he boasted he would cease. If the Jade Emperor appointed him such a title, all troubles would cease. If he is not given this name, he would surely fight his way up to the treasure hall in divine mist. If that's the case, let's not fight with him for the moment. Let's return to the region above and report these words. There will be a time when we send for another celestial soldiers to take the fellow on all sides." The prince was in such pain he could not battle again. Therefore they went back to heaven with Durvada Lee to report, in which speak no further. Look at the Monkey King returning to his mountain triumph. The monster kings of 72 caves and 6 sworn brothers all came to congratulate him. They feast jubilee and blessed the cave dwelling, and he said to his 6 brothers, "If little brother is now called Great Sage equal to heaven, why don't you assume the title of Great Sage also? Our worthy brother our words are right," shouted the bull monster king in their midst. "I'm going to be called Great Sage, parallel with heaven." "I shall be called Great Sage, covering the ocean," said the dragon monster king. "I shall be called Great Sage, united with heaven," said Gardua monster king. "I shall be called Great Sage, mover of mountains," giant Linux king. I shall be called the Great Tail Sage," said the macaque king. "And I shall be called the God-roding Great Sage, an Artichon king." At that moment, the 7 great sages had completed their freedom and do as they pleased, as they called themselves whatever titles they liked. And they had fun for a whole day and then dispersed. Now we report of Durvada Lee and the 3rd prince, who, leading the other commanders, went straight to the treasure hall of divine mist to give this report. "By holy decree, your subjects left the expedition of an archery force down in the region below to subdue the baneful immortal Sun Wukong. We had no idea his enormous power, and we could not prevail against him. We beseech your majesty to give us reinforcements to wipe him out." "How powerful can we expect one baneful monkey to be?" asked the Jade Emperor. "That reinforcements are needed. May your majesty pardon us for the offense worthy of death," said the prince, drawing closer. "That baneful monkey wielded an iron rod. He defeated first the mighty spirit god, and then wounded my shoulder of your subject." Outside of the door of his cave, he set up a banner bearing the words, "Great Sage equal to heaven." He said, "If we were to give some to rank, he will lay down his arms and come declare his allegiance. If not, he will fight his way up to the treasure hall of divine mist." "How dare this baneful monkey be so insolent?" exclaimed the Jade Emperor, astonished by what he heard. "We must order the generals to have him executed at once." As he said this, the gold star Venus came forward again with ranks and said, "Baneful monkey knows how to make of a speech, and has no idea what's appropriate and what isn't. If reinforcements are sent to fight him, I don't think he can be subdued right away without taking our forces. It'd be better if your majesty would greatly extend mercy and proclaim another decree of pacification. Let him indeed make Great Sage equal to heaven." He said he would be given an empty title, in short, a rank without compensation. "What do you mean a rank without compensation?" said the Jade Emperor. The Gold Star said, "His name will be Great Sage equal to heaven, but he will not be given official duty or salary. We shall give him here in heaven, so he might pervert his mind at rest, and him in the test of his madness. The universe will be calm and the oceans will be tranquil again." Hearing those words, the Jade Emperor said, "We shall follow again the counsels of our minister." He ordered the mandate made up, and the Gold Star had to bear it hence. The Gold Star left through the South Heaven Gate, once again headed for Flower Fruit Mountain again. Outside the Water Current Cave, things were differently the way that they'd been previous time. He found the entire region filled with awesome and brilliant presents. Every time conceived a kind of monster, each one clutching their swords and spears, wielding scimitars and staff. Growling and leaping about, they began to attack the Gold Star the moment they saw him. "You chieftains, hear me," said the Gold Star. "Let me trouble you to report this to your great sage. I am a heavenly messenger sent by the Lord above. I have to bear imperial decree of invitation." Various monsters ran aside to report. "There's an old man outside. He said he's a heavenly messenger from the region above, bearing a decree of invitation for you." "Welcome, welcome," said Wukong.
"He must be that gold star Venus who came here last time. Although it was shabby position they gave me, he invited me up to the region above. Nevertheless, it made it to heaven once to familiarize myself with the ins and outs of the celestial passage. He comes again, undoubtedly with good intentions. He commanded various chieftains to wave banners and beat the drums, and trampled up the troops receiving an order. Leaping up to the rest of the monkeys, and the great sage donned his cap and his citrus, over which he tossed a red and yellow robe, slipped them into the cloud shoes, and ran to come in. "Old star, forgive me for not coming out to meet you." The Gold Star strode forward and entered the cave. He stood facing south and declared, "Now we inform the great sage, because the great sage has ejected to Mead of his previous appointment and has removed himself from the imperial stables. The officials depart, both great and small, report the matter to the Jade Emperor. The proclamation of the Jade Emperor at first appointed all officials in advance from lowly positions to exalted ones. Why should he object to that arrangement? This has led to the campaign against the Ravada Leonata. They were ignorant of the great sage's power, therefore suffered great. They reported back to the heaven, and as you set up the banner, they made known to your desire of to be great sage equal heaven. Various martial officials wanted to deny your request, but this old man, who risking his events, pleaded with a case with the great sage, so that you might be invited to receive a new appointment without use of force. The Jade Emperor accepted my suggestion, hence I'm here to invite you. In case "I caused you trouble last time," Wukong said, laughing, "and now I'm indebted to you for your kindness. Thank you, thank you. But really, what such rank is great sage equal to heaven up there?"
I made certain that this title was approved, said the Gold Star, "before I dare to come to the decree. If there's any mishap, let this old man be held responsible." Wukong was highly pleased, but the Gold Star refused his earnest invitation to stay for the banquet. Therefore mounted the cloud with the Gold Star and went to the South Heaven Gate. They were welcomed by celestial generals and guardians, with hands folded at their breasts, and going straight to the treasure hall of divine mist, the Gold Star prostrated himself and memorialized, "Your subject, by your decree, has summoned here the BanHorse plague Sun Wukong." "Has Sun Wukong come forward?" said the Jade Emperor. "I now proclaim you great sage equal heaven, a position of the highest rank, but you must indulge no more in preposterous behavior." Bowing deeply, the Monkey King uttered with a great whoop of thanks. The Jade Emperor then ordered two building officials, Zan and Lu, to erect the official residence of the great sage equal to heaven. Write to the guardian of immortal peaches inside the mansion 2 apartments. Establish the name Peace and Quiet, Serene and Spirit, both of which were full of attending officials. The Jade Emperor had also ordered 5 spirits of 5 poles to accompany Wukong to assume his position. In addition, 2 bottles of imperial wine and 10 clusters of golden flowers bestowed upon him. With that order, he must keep himself under control to make up his mind and indulge no more preposterous behavior. The Monkey King obediently accepted his command and went about his day with the star spirits to assume his position. He opened the bottles of wine and drank them all with his colleagues. After seeing the star spirits off in their own palace, he settled down to complete his content and delight, to enjoy the pleasures of heaven without the slightest worry or care. Truly, his divine forever recorded in the long life book, and kept from falling the samsara, will long be known. We do not know what took place thereafter. Let us listen to the explanation in the next chapter.